I am humbly requesting you to kindly move forward. Those people that are seated at the back there, we appreciate your coming, but we also appreciate it. We will appreciate it if you could move forward for picture and video purposes. Yes. For pictures and video purposes, I would appreciate it if we can take the front seats. Can we do it fast? Because we are already behind the schedule. We are already behind the schedule. I will appreciate it if we can just accommodate the seats in the front. Oh. The community online, are you able to see us now? Because apparently you were only seeing my face. And everything, I'm black, everything behind me was black, and it was just black out. So can you see me
We,
now?
we can see you.
It's fine, eh?
Yes, we can see you.
Okay, thank you. We are disadvantaged there in terms of the skin color and also in the background. So we are going to start now with our program on actually the workshop on twin transition in higher education. First of all, I would like to sincerely tender our apologies for starting 4 minutes past 11. We are 1 hour, 4 minutes behind our scheduled time. My apologies for that. My name is Megameno Shivolo. I am not Dr. Sioni Ikela as appearing on your program, but I'm also a researcher under the T-Prod project for the IUM team. And I am going to stand in the shoes of Dr. Sioni Ikela as the MC for the proceedings this morning. Once again, a very warm welcome to our workshop. Of course, our theme is on fostering twin transition in higher education, green and digital transformation. Just to give you the background information regarding our theme for today, although you are going to be welcomed and you are going to be briefed about the T-Prod project. That is not my role, but I just want to take you through our theme, which speaks to the growing need for higher education institutions to embrace both environmental sustainability and the digital innovation simultaneously. The green transition focuses on sustainable practices that promote environmental sustainability and responsibility, while the digital transformation focuses on the integration of modern technologies to improve teaching and learning, research, and institutional operations. Together, these two elements, uh, they challenge universities and institutions to rethink how we teach, how we learn, how we innovate, and contribute to sustainable development in an increasing digital world. As we all know, we are moving from the traditional way of doing things, and everything that we speak nowadays at the tip of our tongues is digitalized world. Today's workshop, therefore, creates an important space for engagement and create important space for engagement rather and the knowledge sharing and practical reflection on how higher education can respond meaningfully to this global transformation. Ladies and gentlemen, and in particular our students at large, with that brief overview of the theme, we will now proceed to the program of the day. Of course, I do not want to waste time because we are already behind the schedule. I would just like to call on the podium our principal researcher for the TPROD project, the IUM team, and he also served as the director for postgraduate studies and research at IUM. I am inviting you to join me in welcoming on the podium no one other than Dr. Elok Shikalepo to come and do the official opening remarks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shivolo, for the opportunity to deliver the welcoming remarks for today's workshop, marking the second workshop conducted by TPLOD. Yes, Africa as a continent has produced a lot of scholars in different fields, including poetry. And when you look into the literature as well, some of the names always keeps on popping up when it comes to the chapter, meaning to the field of literatures and poetry. And some of these names, we have Chinua Achebe. I think most of you have heard of that name. Chinua Achebe, Ngungi wa Thiong'o, and many others. Yes, but now for this purpose, I would want to welcome you in style by telling you a story that was told by Chinua Achebe. You know, Chinua Achebe, before he just passed on, he told a story about animal. We know the animal, right? Good. Now, he said there was a meeting that was called for animal to go and meet and discuss their own affairs. All the animals in the world, in the jungle, they were to meet at a particular place to discuss their affairs. And the one on the agenda, one of the key items is how to deal with this two-legged being called human. In other words, the animal were to have their meetings to discuss about you. Why? Because apparently you used to trouble animals. Okay. Now, as the animals, they were going to the meeting place, along the way, they met a family of chickens going on the opposite direction. And they said, no. The meeting is that side. You know what the chicken said? No. We understand you, but we have a very important family issues to deal with. Rather proceed to your meeting, but we pledge our commitment to adhere to all the resolutions that we are going to take in that meeting in our absence. Fine. Then the chicken goes the opposite direction. All the other animals goes to where they're supposed to go and meet. Then they meet and they deliberated, they analyze, they critique, they question, they interrogate. Eventually, one of the very smallest animal, I don't know now, I'm not telling it in my own words, whether it was a rat or a meerkat, said, I want to propose something. Okay. I propose that let us give chickens as an appeasement to humans so that they can stop troubling us. Of course, they look around, the chickens were not there. Then they all unanimously agree chickens must be given to humans as an appeasement to entertain a human to stop troubling animals. That's why we have ended up having Kentucky Fried Chickens, KFC, Hungry Lions, all these outlets with chickens because they've been given to us by their other animals. Now, Chino Achembe is saying, is this perhaps what could have happened to Africa? In the context of this meeting, of this workshop, most probably, wherever Africans travel around the world, they always get impressed by the level of technologies elsewhere, the level of digital tools elsewhere, the level of sustainability approaches everywhere. Was there perhaps a meeting that was called for all the nations of the world to go and meet on how they can advance themselves technologically, digitally, and sustainably? And the Africans said, no, 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 no. Just go. We have a very important African issues to deal with. Before they know it, they are now behind in terms of technology, in terms of sustainability, and in terms of digital tools. Is that perhaps what could have happened to us? I don't know. It's a homework for all of us. So now, what I'm saying is the world is revolving very fast, just like the change in weather. The weather for yesterday is not the same for today. And we need to adapt as institutions of higher education to that change in the world landscape in terms of technology, in terms of the digital tools that we are using, and how can we sustain this world to last for today's generation and for the generation for tomorrow. So that's why it's very much important. And I thank all of you who are in this attendance that we did not opt to do as the chicken did. You see, and therefore there's no way out that are going to be given as an appeasement like the chickens were given. So the workshop that we are having today here is going to capacitate us on two key issues. That's why we are talking of twinning in terms of how can we use digital tools to facilitate teaching and learning. And then also, how can we sustain our environment while we are using these digital tools to facilitate teaching and learning. The reality is that technology is here to stay. We can't do anything about it. We just have to make peace with it. You know, we have instead of saying these policies on regulating this and regulating that, but technology is here to stay. We just have to see how best can we use it responsibly and ethically to perfect our teaching and learning, because this is the way. So there's no way we can resist it. Now, in our midst today, we are going to be entertained to a keynote address by one of the renowned experts when it comes to the field of digitalization, digital tools, and sustainability. And therefore, we have really made a very good decision to come up for this workshop today and engage with the expert. In addition to that, we're also having in store for you a practical sessions. That's why I think I was even suggesting maybe the reason why you sat there is because you are afraid of these gadgets. You see, some of us when we were growing up and you see a computer, you don't even want to touch it. What happened if you happen to break? You rather sit a distance. But now we need to bridge that gap. So we are having experts who are going to facilitate. And I know all of you are here. You really want to know how are these gadgets working? How are they operating? We are very curious to know. So we are up for a very interesting practical sessions by presenters and the facilitators from one of our partner institutions, Sabios. So That was basically the background. Now, TEPLOD, this is a consortium of universities from Africa and from Europe. In Africa, we are having the International University of Management here in Namibia, where we are now. And then we are having the University of Ghana in Ghana. And then we are having the University of Education, Winneba, still in Ghana. Then in Europe, we are having the Technical University of Kosice in Slovakia and the haaga-helia University of Applied Sciences in Finland. So these are the 5 universities that have made up this consortium. And this consortium aims at capacitating lecturers and the students on the use of technologies to facilitate what? Teaching and learning. And how do we capacitate lecturers and students? Is by frequently, periodically conduct workshops such as this one. So this is only a series of workshops as we are trying to bring in industry experts to help our lecturers and the students on the latest available technologies and how best these technologies can be used in teaching what? The students and in their own what? Learning. So this is briefly the overview. So the objective is to make sure that once you have attended this workshop, you should be able to learn new technologies that are available for you to use in your teaching and learning responsibly and ethically, so that we go on par with the time and the changes in technologies. So with this said, I'm wishing you fruitful deliberation, fruitful discussions. You must ask where you don't understand so that it is really worth a while for you to have been in these workshops. The presenters and the facilitators are here for you. And please, if there is anything that you do not understand, you must really engage constructively with them. And a part of the workshop objective is also to foster collaboration, such that now from this workshop, we may even have to initiate memorandums of agreement and the partnerships with the partners so that going forward, we from time to time engage. So it's not only a once-off event, but rather the start of yet a long journey that all of us collectively have to go. With this said, I wish you all the best for this workshop and enjoy. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Principal, for ensuring that our audience is at ease. Because when you enter somebody's house, especially the people that are here for the first time, and you are not being welcomed, it makes you to feel uncomfortable. I think with those remarks, you are officially now welcome to participate and to engage in this very important and of course educative workshop on twin transition in higher education. You heard from the principal investigator or principal researcher that we have a consortium of 5 universities. I think, Principal, you forgot to mention who are the representatives of the International University of Management in this consortium. Maybe I can do it there. Of course, IUM is represented by 6 researchers. The principal being Dr. Elok Shikalepo, the one who was just welcoming us. And then we also have our deputy principal researcher, Dr. Hileni Silohenda Amutenu. Where is Doctor? Doctor, okay, maybe when she comes, I will ask her to stand so that you see her. Also, we are represented by, allow me to say Dr. Mr., because it's just a matter of a few days before he becomes doctor. But that is Dr. Mr. Shepo Timotheus. Where is Dr. Shepo? Yes, Dr. Shepo right there at the back. He's also a researcher under this project. And also 2 others. We have Dr. Sioni Ikela in his absentia. Dr. Alpha Deunyema, is she maybe joining us online or is she here? Oh, yeah, she's busy with the block release classes. And of course, myself. I'm also a project partner or a researcher in that project. Thank you. Before I move on to the next item, I just want to indicate that we have attendance registers, and we, as part of the mandate of this project, we always are required to prove the evidence that indeed the workshop was attended. Therefore, those that have not yet furnished their names in the attendance registers, we have some here, maybe they can be circulated. Also, it is expected that by the end of this workshop, you will have to evaluate the deliberations of this workshop. Therefore, on the program, there is a QR code that we need to scan that will take us to that page where we can evaluate the workshop. Without wasting time and of course moving on, I would like to invite Master Timotheus Shepo, the Dean, the Faculty of ICT, and also a researcher in the TPROD project under the IUM team, to come and do the introduction of the keynote speaker. Can we put our hands together in welcoming Master Shepo?
Thank you, Director of Proceeding. Good morning to everyone, both here physically and online. All right, so I'm here to do my ritual to introduce our keynote address, Mr. Seblon David. As we heard from the brief from Dr. Shkalepo, he is an expert in the field of digital transformation. So Mr. Seblon David is an AI strategist, he's an entrepreneur, he's also an educator, and he's currently busy transforming Namibia and the African continent in the field of AI infrastructure development, that now spanning from hardware, open source models, as well as talent creation. So he's the founder and CEO of Glowdome Technologies Namibia, which he have spent over 13 years growing one of Namibian prominent technology companies, and it's now repositioned as an African AI infrastructure company. With hardware assembly, it deals with software development as well as educational technology. So in his role as an AI SADC regional director at Glowdome, he's also a council member for creative and entrepreneurship innovation across Namibia, in Botswana, South Africa. So Mr. David has orchestrated AI agents, connects capital with infrastructure, as well as building the Pan-African network needed to accelerate the regional AI transformation. So his work spans strategy, product commercialization, donor and government relation, as well as capital raising, with some of the active engagement with GIS, UNESCO, USAID, as well as some of the development financial institution. So finally, Mr. David holds a Mandela Washington Fellowship. He's also with a holder of the Tony Elemulo Foundation, and he now brings to us combination of technical depth. He's a Cisco CCNP certified. He's an AI certified engineer, and he's a graduate of computer engineering. So please allow me to welcome Mr. Seblon David to the podium to give us a keynote address.
Good morning. good. I was told that I was going to have a wireless mic, but I hope I will manage with this. Yes, I think I would need that. Thank you. All right, am I audible? Okay, I'm audible. Okay, thank you so much. All right, thank you for the introduction. It was stated that my name is Sebulon David. I'm an AI engineer, entrepreneur. Now, one of the things that I want to highlight at the beginning is that as AI engineers, we don't prompt the large language model. We don't prompt ChatGPT. We basically build ChatGPT, right? That's a difference. The users, our users, will then prompt the LLMs, and as we develop the LLM, the systems. Now, one of the things that I'm going to be focusing today in this presentation is sovereign twin transition. I like the story that was given by Dr. Enoch of the animals. If we are not at the table, it means that somebody else is making decisions for us, right? We are not part and parcel of that. It could either work for us or it might not work for us, right? Okay, so my main focus today is to highlight that, to challenge ourselves as higher institutions in the role that we need to play around twin transition, green, and digital transformation. Please, can you help me with the next slide, please? Next slide, please. Okay. All right. So I want to bring it back home. I want to bring it back home here. The main person who is very important in the higher institution is the student, right? Okay. And let's assume we have a student from Eliambala village. Why did I put Eliambala village? Is because that's where I'm from. So I want to make it, I'm bringing it home. So something that we can relate. Okay. So we have a student who's staying in Katutura, comes to school, doesn't have electricity, proper electricity. Sometimes it's on, sometimes there's no money to put electricity. Can we relate to this? Okay. But then they got a device, maybe they have a mobile phone or they got a device from the institution, but data is a problem, right? Because now they have to download those PDFs, watch the videos. Hey, I'm seeing some people smiling this side. I'm sure people can relate, right? You know, downloading those videos, downloading those PDFs, you know, you are supposed to attend classes online and things like that. And then you are limited because you don't have enough resources, right? Okay. So now you're probably sharing with your colleagues, friends, and so on. You probably have these limited data dongles that you're getting from whether it's MTC or telecom, limited, and the data goes off. Sometimes you have to do it at night. For example, when you're using free data and so on, right? But then
apologies. Is the slides moving? Are we still on slide 1?
we are still on slide 1.
Okay, sorry.
Yes, right.
My apologies.
Thank you. Okay, so, but then this student has an assignment to submit, right? And then also, the LLM is not, they want to use ChatGPT or they want to use DeepSeek, but then it's not loading because there's no data. Okay, please, can I have the next slide? All right, so data cost, if you look at Africa, data cost is an issue. Energy access is an issue, right? And also the pipeline in terms of what needs to be done. Large language models and the learning management systems, right now we are using the traditional learning management systems. And then also in terms of the budget, the students are struggling, as well as now the profile of the students. Okay. Can I please have the next slide, please? All right.
My apologies, Mr. President. I don't know, maybe it's just at my end. Can I just confirm whether people are seeing the slides moving? It's probably just at my end. Because the slides are not moving. We're still on slide one.
The slide
No,
is
it's
not
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 audio,
moving.
President Officer.
Okay, then.
Oh yeah, thank you. Now it's there.
Okay. Thank you. For
Alright.
that. All right. Can we have these ones moved? This one is covering the slides. Can we have it moved, please? Thank you. Right. Let's move on to the next slide. So where we are right now as Africa is that Africa did not miss the transition, right? That is one thing that we must get right. We are in the middle of it, and we are doing it right because we are not coming from the background like where the Western framing is to say, like, for example, we are transitioning from carbon heavy digital infrastructures, and then now we need to go green and so on. We have the sun, we have the wind, we have the water, and so on. So we are in the middle of it, and we're just starting, right? So if we look at the reality of Africa is that we are building clean from the start. So it's different. It's a different analogy that we have here. Energy and digital, we should not separate them. Okay, we have policies on electricity and all that. We know that when development comes in our villages, a school starts, for example, get built, and then electricity comes, water comes, businesses comes around the village and things like that. That's how development comes. We can relate to that, right? But now what we're saying is that in this day and age, we should not separate the policy of digital and electricity. Why? If we were to achieve what we want to achieve, we should not separate them. We must merge them because they go together. NamPower is running fiber cables going from here to the north. The same fiber cables are needed to transmit what? Internet. So if we can use the same infrastructure, electricity and digital, then we are in the best position to provide connectivity in many different places. Does it make sense? So it means that we must have, these policies must talk to each other. We must not have telecom on the other side, MTC on the other side, and then let's say, for example, NamPower is on the separate side. So these conversations must be, must come together, right? The other thing is that we have solar is everywhere, so we can leverage energy from that perspective. And then also the other thing that is very important is that the higher institutions should get involved, needs to get involved in the development of this. Because if you don't own it, someone else is controlling it, okay? So our research institutions, R&Ds, research and development, we have to get involved, both from the lecturer point of view and also from the student point of view. Please, can I have the next slide? All right. So if we look at where we are right now, and we're saying that we should bring these two together, there is no reliable energy, right, in many places, no digital access sometimes. And then at the same time also, if we look at the student who is coming from a village somewhere else, they struggle because there are other factors involved, okay? So one of the things that I'm going to do today in the lecture is, in this keynote, is to highlight some of the things that we need to do from our perspective. What is it that we need to do from our perspective? All right, can I have the next slide, please? Now, the biggest blocks of digital transformation, green and digital transformation, is that one is that we are depending too much. There is too much import dependencies. We expect these solutions to come from somewhere else and not from here, building it from within. The other thing that is there is what I mentioned earlier, energy and digital, they are disconnected. The conversations are disconnected, okay? Another thing that is very important is cloud and data tax on poverty. We are taxing basically people who do not have, right? So again, we are cutting out a lot of people from the green and digital transformation. Another thing that is very important is access equals inclusion. We think that if we give a laptop to a student and access to the email, then they are included in the digital transformation. But that is built for something else. It's built for high bandwidth environment, in a different context and all that. We need to get back home and look at the realities on the ground. Now, there are some questions that I would like us to ask ourselves as institutions on the continent, right? Like, for example, if the power went off for 4 hours today, if the power just goes off 4 hours today, and students' mobile data run out, how much of our digital academic program would still function? There's no data for the student, the power has gone off the whole day. How much of our academic digital programs will be running? Right? Okay, another question is, where does your learner data live? Is it stored somewhere in Europe? Is it stored somewhere in America? Where is the data? Okay. On which server, which country, under which jurisdiction, controlled by who? Who's controlling the data? How many of our courses are available offline in indigenous languages, local languages, which means the course is also, can be in Oshiwambo, can be in Damara, can be in another language, right? What percentages of our digital transformation budget is spent with African-owned technology companies? Because we are producing talent that is going to the market. The market is supposed to absorb the students to get employed. But if the technologies companies are not getting money from whatever is being implemented in the market, it means that the money is going somewhere else. And then we sit with a huge number of people that are unemployed. Okay? So as we go, I want you to ponder on these questions because we are bringing it back home here. Okay? Right. Now, one of the most important things for us to build sovereign digital transformation or sovereign twin transition, where we are considering both the energy and technology, we know that they go together. You can't have a laptop without working without energy, right? So they go together. That's why we need to marry the two, right? Now, for us to do that, there are 6 sovereign stakes that higher institutions need to consider when we're talking about digital transformation. Now, we go from hardware. What are we building locally? Now, the computer that I brought here, this is a Namibian computer from the company that I founded. So we are making and assembling these devices locally. Why is that? Digital transformation is changing nowadays. AI has disrupted the digital transformation space. Now, what does that mean? It means that if you are to run a large language model locally, a computer, which means you're using ChatGPT on your device, you don't need the internet, you're running the large language model locally. You need high computing power. You need energy, high consumption of energy, and plus there's a lot of processing that is taking place, right? So now, it means that most of the devices that we are having now will not be able to run those large language model locally. Why is it important to Esther or Emilia, who is from a village in the north or from the south? Why is that important? Because right now what is happening is that we are losing intellectual property. Esther is starting from year 1, is using the large language model, and they are feeding in information into these large language models. Do you know where the data goes? Do you know where the intellectual property is going? It literally says that we are not owning anything. Because once you feed in the data into that large language model, especially the free model, not the enterprise versions, the corporations, they sign policies and all that for their data not to be used as training for the large language model. But if it's a free model, it means that you are the product. So which means if the learner is using, a student is using a large language model, feeding in the data assignments, feeding in their ideas and all that, you are basically making your intellectual property open to the public out there. It doesn't matter what you're creating. At the end of the day, it's open book for everyone. Because when you feed it here and someone else prompt from another location, whether it's in Europe, America, China, and all that, your information will come out on the other side because it goes into the large language model, uses pre-data for training data, and then it comes out somewhere else. So you cannot build something that is innovative because you have already given it freely. It's like we're using social media. We gave our images and pictures for free to Facebook already. You can't go there and start claiming, for example, because you've put it in the public domain. And that's a danger. If the higher institutions are doing that, you see where the danger is. We'll never create something and bring it to the world and say, this is new. We are the owner of this and all that, because we've already been feeding the systems. Now, where is the power? Then it means that we must build local large language models. How do we do that? We must turn our labs, our traditional computer labs that we have in the universities, we must make them smart labs, which means you install a large language model onto the lab so that then people can prompt within that space. The data is not going to the cloud. You put open source large language models integrated into your computer labs. Does it make sense? Right. Okay, so now that goes with the hardware, it goes with the energy. We must use solar because the consumption of energy is going to be high. So you want to make sure and you leverage energy in the higher education. Connectivity, you use TV white space and other platforms to provide connectivities and all that. Software, you put the locally hosted large language model like Llama and DeepSeek and so on. Data, we control the data. For us to do analytics and so on, we need to be able to build this solution. If we don't have engineers to build these things, it means that someone else will build it according to their context. The story of the animals, if we are not at the table, if we don't know what to do and how to do it, someone else is going to build it based on their environment and their context. So as higher institution, we have the responsibility to develop solutions that work for us. Right. And the other thing also, which is very important with these 6 pillars, is the content layer. The content layer is, I had a talk earlier with one of the staff from the institution who is in the language department. I was happy to interact with her because the thing is, the content we have the indigenous languages is very important. If you query ChatGPT now, or Claude, or DeepSeek, or Google Studio, and you query Shiwambo or Herero or something, what do you guys get? Do you get the answer? You don't get the answer, right? Why? Because we are not involved at the table. If we're involved at the table, then our agenda will be represented. It means that we need to develop, we need to collect data set, clean the data, and train these large language models so that they understand our indigenous languages. Because what is happening is that what is there is that it's proven that these things are not going away because the value is just too much that no one would want to use it. It makes things better, faster, cheaper. You can get a whole thing that you're supposed to do in 6 months, you can get it in a very short period of time if you know how to use it, right? Next slide, please. So one of the things that we have started doing, and we think that universities need to start doing, is really building smart labs, locally assembled hardwares, solar-powered infrastructures, offline first. We are building offline first. We are not taking it from the cloud and trying to put it on the, locally, because our context is different. We must always build considering those that are not on the grid, those that are offline. So if you build offline first, it means that our solution will be different. And the other thing that is very important is to integrate AI agent. Everything is becoming AI agent. Universities are changing now. What do we mean by multi-AI agents? Is that you can have a system that is having multi-agents. These are artificial robots in the system providing tutorial support and all that to the learners. So now these become assistive. It's not replacing the lecturers, the teachers, but it's basically enhancing or increasing the learning efficiencies of the students. Because right now with AI, almost every day there's an AI coming up. There's a new tool that is coming up, and it's very difficult for everyone to keep up. So which means in this day and age of green and digital transformation, we need to increase the learning efficiency. How fast? It's more of how fast can you learn things? So now the universities are challenged in terms of the curriculum needs to be able to adapt to what is in the industry. How do you make sure that you are able to adapt quickly? because before the learners go out of the system, the industry has moved on to something else, right? So there is that imbalance that is there. So we need to make sure that, our curriculums are being built, in the same line. Otherwise, the students, they go out in the industry, they get unemployed. Right. So one of the structure that or architectures is to introduce agentic RAG system. This is retrieval augmented generations into the computer labs, which means that the university can use its own data, the syllabuses, all that knowledge base that is being created year in, year out. And then getting this information getting chunked into vector database, vector embeddings, so that it makes it very easy. It's more like the way, how many people are familiar with Notebook LM? Notebook LM, a Google Notebook LM. This is a RAG system that you are able to load in your content, and then the large language model is not going to go all over the internet. It's going to only use what is the context that is given. So the similar thing is that the universities, higher institutions, must build their own agentic, augmented generations, so that then you create a knowledge base that is focused around what the content that is supposed to be accessed by the learners. Then we do away with all these other things to say, okay, people are going out there and taking everything from the internet. Right. So this will make things easier because it helps with the intelligence layer, helping the learners, but then it also protects the intellectual properties of the institutions and the continent. Okay, can I have the next slide, please? I'm going to go a bit faster now. I see that my time is up. So we need to build the stacks. The universities, they need to build their technology, AI stacks. What are those tools and technology stacks that the university needs to embed into the whole system? And that goes for the green, using solar, using what we already have, naturally have, and then the digital components. So green is not a constraint, it's a competitive advantage that we have. It's burning here, it's sunny and all that. Let's turn that problem into an opportunity by creating energy and localizing for relevant content for our context. Let me have the next slide, please. Okay, so the digital transformation will not happen in one day. It's a process. So it needs to be planned properly, and also partnering. I like what was mentioned earlier. Universities working together with industry. These are models that European and the US and China are doing. They work closely with the industry to build these solutions. Let me have the next slide, please. So I'm going to leave you with these 5 sentences, going back to where we started. Emilia Nangula, that we started with, living in Katutura. She's not failing because she lacks the intelligence, right? But sometimes the technology that she's using is built for another context. So there is a need to tailor-make that technology so that it works for her in the context and the challenges that she's facing. Digital transformation built on subscription. Most of the students cannot afford. These tools that we are using, they have a premium version and a freemium version. The freemium version is the free version, which is limited. Even what you're generating, it's poor quality because you are using the low-level large language models in those systems. And then there's paid versions that has more quality versions of whatever it is that you're outputting, which means when you pay, you get the quality. When you don't pay, you are the product, you get low quality, right? But most of the students cannot afford that, right? So the next item that we need to look at is you cannot separate energy policy that we talked about from the digital policy. We need to match them, and the conversations must go together. And then the other thing that is there is that giving a laptop and email is not inclusion. We need to do more as higher institution. With that, I thank you, colleagues and everyone in the room, and I can take a few questions. Thank you.
So much, Master Steblon, for the wonderful presentation. He indicated that he's ready to take a few questions. Remember, this workshop is tailor-made for us. And through this presentation, we are being challenged to contextualize whatever we do. How do you teach that English in your class? How do you teach that computer studies in your class? That's why I'm allowing us to engage with him in terms of asking questions or making comments.
And if there's no question, it's also totally fine. Yeah, thank you.
A hand there.
Okay.
I think there's a revolving mic somewhere. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. Good afternoon.
What?
Yeah, I have a question based on the, I don't know what slide it was, but it said Africa did not miss the transition in terms of technology. This question was, I wanted to ask, where does Africa stand right now in terms of technology? Because most of the technologies that we use right now are from foreign countries. And in Africa, that is where the raw material comes to build these devices. But this question you have already answered it because I heard your company is the one that built that laptop. So I'm very happy about that. But what is the government doing right now in terms of African governments? What are they doing right now to make sure creative people like yourselves, technologies are recognized? And the other question is, you talked about the educations, in terms of universities, they must be changed, we must use our own databases and so forth. In terms of your expertise, what must be done in terms of the education systems in general, maybe from the primary level to the tertiary level? What must be done for us to improve in terms of developing our own technologies? And yes, I thank you, sir.
Okay. Thank you so much for the wonderful questions. Just briefly, I have a very interesting journey. At some point back in the days, I went to a foreign country, and after 2 years of university, and on the other side, I was put in kindergarten to study with the children of 6 and 7 years old at the age of 22. So I got to see education from like in kindergarten, looking at it throughout university and connecting it to the job market. I think what is very important as Africans, what we need to do is that we need to, bring it home, contextualize what we are learning, putting it like in the villages, in our Katutura. How can we change Katutura? How can we change our own villages? What are the issues that we are facing there? Making it more practical and reality, right? Because we can be using technologies and concepts and all that, but we cannot relate to them, right? So the first thing is really the context, right? The context is very important, that we need to start thinking of solving problems, and the curriculums must be, channeled around problem solving first, right? A lot of things that are happening is that there's too much theory and less practical. So we need to make sure that, like for example, if I look at the AI space, you have data, you have code, you have research, you have mathematics. These large language models are doing mathematics in the background. And then you have evaluation to test and see whether this thing is really giving you the results or not. So the higher institutions has to get involved in those different areas, whether it's in the building itself, research part, evaluation and testing and things like that. And that is how we can build our own solutions, right? And to answer the question around how do we bring that awareness and make more people understand, one of the things that I have committed myself to is really I do AI myself, I build solutions, but then at the same time, I commit to teaching others, right? So if we can develop that culture of continuous learning with AI and green digital transformation and all that, in this day and age, you can't afford to say, I've studied, it's enough, right? It has to be that continuous learning, because almost every now and then something is coming up. And we need to develop the culture of learning, culture of teaching, culture of sharing, open source, which means the universities, for example, needs to connect to, like, for example, the open source platforms. Like, for example, nowadays people are talking about the model context protocol. These are MCPs to allow you to build system and integrate different systems together. So now we need to be able to connect the different systems. And that will help now the academia not to operate in isolation, but to connect the academia to the government system, to the industry, and then with all these triple helix. When it becomes government, academia, and industry working together, then it becomes a normal conversations, and that's how we build the solutions. I hope I have answered your questions. Yes.
There's a question online. It's from, I don't know if it's a Mr. or Ms. Malwa. My question is Mr. David planning to partner with the government? And what are his dissemination plans?
Okay, thank you so much for the question. For the last, in the past, basically in the beginning, I was at a university lecturer at UNAM, and then I left UNAM and then went private. But for the last 10, 15 years, I've been working closely with the Ministry of Education. So we have done a lot of projects with the Ministry of Education, teachers training. We used the model of teachers training because we wanted to empower the teachers so that the teacher can then empower the learners and so on. We work with organizations like UNESCO, organizations like GIZ. We started doing now digital transformation with the TVET colleges across the whole country. So we've been training like the system administrators for TVET colleges, VTCs, on how they can do digital transformation and all that. So in addition to building the solutions and all that, we have been highly involved in education and working with education. And what we are now getting into is to help the public servant, to learn about this and to know how they can protect, do the data privacy and protection of data sovereignty and so on. Yeah. So we are in that pipeline, and we want to partner up with more universities and to mentor more students and how they can build solutions, and also doing it sustainably, building businesses, and also helping and solving issues in the country.
Yes, I think there is one hand, two, three more hands. Can we perhaps start at the back? There's another question online? Okay.
Sorry, let me read this question. It's from Dr. Nakambale Manuel. What strategy can university use to help local community embrace modern technology changes and become active participant in the twin transition?
Right. Thank you so much. Very wonderful questions. The thing is, we're coming from, if I look back, a couple of years back, we had two ministries, Ministry of Higher Education and then the Ministry of Basic Education. And now these two ministries are combined, right? Because there was always a gap there. But one thing that I see is that higher education needs to look back in terms of the way the students are coming from. Because a lot of times, for example, you'd find a student can be here at the university, but they still do not know how to read and write. Do you agree on that one? You can be at the university, but reading and writing is a problem. Yes. So there is then assumption, we can assume and say they know how to read and write already, but someone can be memorizing throughout. And there are some knowledge gaps in these students, for example. And that is the advantage that we now have with the AI era, is that we can rectify some of these things going backwards, because a person can now rectify their grammar, they can rectify their reading and writing, they can improve their numeracies and so on. They've managed to go through the system, but then they still have they are slacking on some levels. So one of the things that the universities have, the higher education institutions have around green and digital transformation is really to sort of help the basic education. More projects in helping to improve the education system. It's more like solving for yourself. Because if we improve, channel, and create solutions for the basic education, it gives us a playing ground. Most of the companies that are into the AI, they all have like playing ground where you can test things and things like that. So if the higher institutions look at the basic education and they use it as a playing ground, right, to build solutions, to test solutions and things like that, then the institutions will be more innovative in creating solutions. But then those solutions that they are building for the basic education, it's still education, right? It can still be scaled to the higher education realm as well. And then eventually into the market. Yes. The other thing that I should perhaps add is partnering up with the industry a lot for commercializations of innovation. A lot of times, you have, like, for example, for me, as a student some years back at the University of Namibia, I took my research work and turned it into a business. That is what I'm basically doing now. So I've been doing this research work since a student. So what should happen with the higher institutions is that we should encourage the students to say, if we are working on this research, which means it was vetted and it was seen as relevant to the country and to the market, which means that thing that you're working on must be turned into a viable business that can create employment. So commercializations of innovation and research in the higher institutions around the realm of green and digital transformations, that is the way to go.
Greetings, sir.
Yes.
Yeah, I just want to ask something. You said your company built that particular computer that is there. Can you please enlighten us more on how you and your company did this and how powerful is that computer now?
I didn't hear the last part. How what?
How powerful is that specific computer now?
Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. So what happens is that we saw the gap in the market, and the space that we are playing in is not only on the hardware part, is the 6 rim that we talked about: the hardware, the software, the data, the connectivity, the content, and so on. So it's the 6 rims around the computer, because we saw that there's gaps around the data, gaps around content, gaps around software, and things like that. We started sourcing the devices from outside. We assemble locally. So we partnered up, we build a relationship with the outside world so that then we can build locally. So we are currently now busy with the factory that we're putting up in the north close to Angola so that then we can produce more devices and put more devices in the market that people can leverage local large language models in their devices. How powerful this computer is that it's a 32 gig. Most of the people are using their RAM is, let's say, 8 gig or 16, maybe 4, 8, and so on. So this goes with 32 gig. But we have varieties of different devices. Not everyone needs to use that. So it goes with your functions and the use cases, right? And we have different devices as well, like smart boards and things like that. But the whole point is to say, really, we don't have to rely everything outside. Now, one thing that is quite interesting about myself and what I have studied is that I studied many different things. I studied geology, I studied IT, I studied computer engineering, I studied computer science. So what I've been doing for the last 15 years, I was trying to figure out how do I bring my geology together with computer science? Because it's not taught at the university. I was not taught how I can bring them together. One side, I'm thinking as like a geologist, going out in the field, doing explorations of minerals and so on, and energy and all that, and understanding the earth science. On the other side, I'm under air condition, working and building a software and all that. I've been struggling to put these two together. But right now, if you look at where we are with green and digital transformation, is that we basically have 3 things coming together. We have minerals that are building the chips of these devices, and then you have energy that is powering these devices, and then you have AI, which is the intelligence layer. So these 3 things are coming together now, right? I don't know if I have answered your question, sir. Yes.
Sorry, there are also questions online and somebody raised their hand here. So there's a follow-up question, I think, from Mr. Malwa, Ms. Malwa, saying, is the speakers company currently having playing group that is accessible to students?
Excuse me,
Is the speakers company currently having a playing group that is accessible to students?
Yes.
Okay.
So what we've done also is that, I mean, there are different use cases, as I mentioned. There is use cases for students level, has to be affordable, have to be cheap, have to be what they only need. And then, there is an engineer somewhere, a graphic designer somewhere that needs a more powerful device, a high graphic card, things like that. So the different use cases. And it's going back to the same story that was told by the doctor in the beginning, to say that if we are not at the table, then we'll not be able to make those decisions. So what is happening right now, because we understand the context that there are these different levels in terms of the economic, the social challenges and all that, we are now able to build, looking at to say, this thing can help a student, for example, who is in this position, for example, right? So we have created a solution for the students, and we are providing it to different institutions, yeah.
All right.
Including the little ones. To say, if the kid is 8 years old or 5 years old, and one of the things that we've also been doing, just to highlight, is that we've been taking teachers and students from Namibia to China on technology exchange programs as well, just so that people can get to see what is out there in partnership with organizations like UNESCO and so on. Yeah.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. David. I can relate to a lot of the technicalities you have been addressing here today. Also being in the education space as well as the green space. My question maybe also putting to the audience here. You've mentioned that you've been in this space for 15 years, right? So your challenges that you've experienced in this space, as well as your milestones, just so that we can see as a community where we can add value to say, okay, this is working, let's keep doing that, or these are the challenges, how do we then overcome? Because you're speaking to future innovators here, so that you can just put them in those two categories so that we relate to what the field has in store. Thank you.
Thank you for the question. Great questions.
Are you going to forget the question?
No, it's fine.
So that we can just take the last question due to the factor of time, then you just answer the questions together.
Okay.
Okay, thank you. My question is on AI. What I understood is that when we use AI to make our work easy, for example, uploading a document there to summarize or whatever it may be, it's like giving away this information. So how do we then solve this problem moving forward so that we make our work easy, but without giving our intellectual property away?
Right. Thank you so much.
Are we ignored online?
Yeah.
Sorry, say again, speaker. I'm sorry.
Are we ignored? Are we ignored online?
Not at all. We are very much together. But can we just allow Master David to answer the questions that were posed, and then we can turn back to you if there are also questions online. But I think we have done justice, because there were questions that were posted there, and they have been attended to. But you are not cut off. You are part of us.
Mr. Nakosera will be the next one after Mr. David answers.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for the question. So I must say that there is the conversations of green and digital transformation, they were very difficult before COVID. Very, very difficult. You can imagine, like using a Google Calendar, for example. We only used it to just have an appointment, to say a reminder that I have a meeting at 2 o'clock, but not to really attend the meeting online. So that is kind of where we are coming from before COVID and all that. And then COVID happened, and that at that point, we won a project at the SADC level to provide a digital transformation across Southern Africa. So we pitched to an organization called Southern Africa Innovation Support. And then we won the project to support 5 countries in SADC. Now, after COVID, the conversations were much lighter, since there was separation, distancing and things, and people tried to do digital transformation at the school level, at the universities. There were some investments that were done in the space of green and digital transformation and things like that. So the conversations got much lighter than it was before COVID. Now, with the release of generative AI, right, Gen AI, which came now through ChatGPT, and some people still think that ChatGPT is AI. There is a difference. This is a tool, is an application, and behind that application, there is a large language model. And there is over 600 plus large language models out there, built by different companies and things like that. Some models are coming from China. Some are more specialized to different industry. But what generative AI brought is that we now are able to work with text, we are able to work with images, we are able to work with videos, we are able to work with files, and we are able to work with audios and so on. So that brought a whole different game in the space of AI and digital transformation. Now, another thing that happened after generative AI, we are talking about agentic AI, where now we are building agents to do the work. And now the place where we are at is that the agents are talking to each other. So the human is not there anymore, right? These things are talking to each other and they are able to do the work. But the opportunities that is there is for one to realize the limitations of AI technology and the advantage that you have as a human. Because most of this, where we are right now is that AI can do a lot of things better than the human. Even us as software engineers, our role as software engineer has changed. You don't need to try to remember and code the whole application anymore. Now you use coding agents, for example, to help you do some of the work. And the work that used to take a long time, right now, it takes you less than like, for example, you can build a whole website in 3 or 5 minutes, right? If you know what you're doing, right? So, and that is disrupting the whole space. And as we are saying, technology doesn't work without energy. And the best place as Africans is that we have energy everywhere. It's up there. We just need to harness it and then channel it to the technology that we need, because that has to channel to influence the industrial revolution that we are building. We can't build the 4th industrial revolution and the 5th industrial revolution without energy and then digital. So they have to come together. So now the challenges that we face is that, number one is that we are very futuristic. Some of the things that we are talking about and things like that, you can imagine building something from Enana, for example, because that's where I started. When I left my university job, I went to Enana to build from home, right? So you can imagine having a conversation 10 years ago or 15 years ago about digital transformation, putting up solar in the whole city, putting up antennas so that you create a wide area network and building applications on that network, creating a smart city. It's a very difficult conversation. But right now where we are at is that there is at least willingness. And now we just need to educate our people so that we understand the advantage of this and how we can leverage it as Africans. And when we do that, then we can partner up. It doesn't mean that when we're talking about sovereign twin transition, we are cutting off the rest of the world and saying we are going to do it just by ourselves. We're basically saying, how do we take ownership of what we are using and building, and how do we partner up with the rest of the world? I started building relationship. I worked with a lot of colleagues from Finland and Europe and all that. I built relationship with America. We work with universities in the US and companies in the US. We work with China and all that. So we decided that we are gonna be here. I referenced Eliambala because that's my village. So we're building from there. And then we're saying, hey, we are gonna partner with everyone in the world and bring the solutions back home here and build something that works for us. So if we have some control, if we are at the table, we can control. Remember the story, the animals, they went to meet and then the chicken went, and now the chicken we are eating chicken every day, right? So the thing is, we must be part and parcel of the conversation. If we are not part and parcel of that, someone else will make a decision for us. And the other thing what is there is that energy and digital, this is basically saying these two things are the things that cross the borders. You won't see the borders. If you're looking at green and digital transformation, you won't see the border to say there's Angola here, there's a border, this is where it ends, because the digital is passing through, right? So it means that this is an opportunity that we have to actually transform our continent. And also not thinking small, we need to think big. If you're only thinking of your own village, for example, then you are cutting yourself off. So you need to think of your village, but thinking of the continent. Because if we are only thinking of, let's say, for example, Namibia only, then you are limiting yourself in terms of the market and your reach. But whatever you build here, we can innovate and the world can use our solutions. Yeah. The question about what we are feeding into the large language models, what happens to our intellectual property and all that. Yes, you're very much right. And that's a thing that most of the people do not know. because the thing is, they feed in these systems, their own data, their own novelties and all that into these things. And this data is being used by the large language model companies to basically train their data, right? So that hence now the local, large language model, which means you can install the thing in your computer and use your computer. Your data is not going out there. It's not going into the cloud. You are basically harnessing and leveraging the intelligence locally. It's more like having something that you only use at home. No one else sees, no one else has access to it and all that. And that's how you protect your data. So if we can do that at an individual level, at an institutional level, at government level, industry, everybody's controlling their data and all that, then you are deciding what to put out there and what you must withhold from the rest. Because for you to really protect your ideas and everything is because you need to somehow control who has access to it. Then also, again, knowledge of patterning and protecting your property, your intellectual properties and all that. Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we can then move to Master Nakusera online. Maybe just to briefly ask his question, because I think we have spent more than the time that was allocated to this activity.
Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate this. You see, my question was, if you answered it, my question was, are we really to digitize everything? Because currently there's so much garbage that we have to deal with. There's so much fake anything that comes through. And for our older generation, these things, and you talk about 600 models already, and that brings that disengagement with technology, let me call it that way. So that's what we feel, especially in academia, where people still feel if you digitize everything, what will happen to us? The warm body, will it still be there? Because people want to know if systems fail, will we still be able to go back? Or is it reskilling, retraining all the time? And that's what creates this engagement. But answered quite a few of my concern. Yeah, so that was my question, but you actually answered. Yeah, and also the fragile systems that we deal with as university. It's the poor data. You also spoke about that. We are so fragile that anything happen, yeah, our students, I mean, the lecturers, teaching cannot take place. So those that's what scares us. The moment you want to digitize everything. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments and question. Where we are right now, colleagues, is that AI has moved into the agentic space, which means now you can use in Excel and your PowerPoint that you install in your computer in Microsoft Word and all that, you can have the large language model on Excel, which means you don't have to do each and everything by yourself. So these things are there, and then you can query and say, create for me a table like this, do analysis on this and all that, and it will do that on Excel, for example, right? On your computer, not anymore, let's say, on the browser only or something like that. So you can do the integrations and have these things working there. It's been proven that this thing is working. Where we are right now, you are able to talk to your computer and say, analyze and check the memory space of my computer by voice, commanding your computer. Say, check for me the space and all that, create a folder on the desktop, put all my files that I've not used for the last 3 weeks, put them in that folder and all that, and delete all the temporary files and do all these things. And the computer is going to do all that by itself, right? So these things are making work easier. The question of like, whether we need it or not, or whether you should catch up or not, it's not a thing of that anymore. It's like we all need to catch up. And what is good about COVID and what happened after COVID is that there was a reset in the world. And what is happening now, and as I keep observing and following what is happening globally, I keep asking myself, when is my people going to catch up with what is happening now? It's like there was a reset, an opportunity for us to catch up, but now we are still sitting, waiting, and then we'll be left behind. And we are going to be exactly where we were before that time. So it's high time that we catch up. Now, the only thing that is there is now the trust issue. Even the guys that are in Europe and Finland, and the US and elsewhere and all that, although where we are right now, the AI and all that is doing all this work and is able to do all these things. No one trusts their personal information entirely and leaving it up to AI to do everything. You still need a human in the loop, which means you can say, do all these things and all that, and then even ask me whether it's correct, so that then you are there to evaluate and say, is this correct? Is this what? Is this right? And all that, and you approve, which means you still, as a human, you must still be in the loop. Don't leave it all up to AI to decide and all that. Otherwise, it's going to wipe your whole computer, right? So you still are needed in the loop, and that's where the trust is and all that. Now, that trust, you elevate it from the individual level, you bring it to your community, you bring it to the regional, the national, and all that, and it goes to the whole continent. Right. Now, when it comes to our elders, the thing is, as much as these things are new and all that, what is happening right now, the technicalities has also gone down. So I spoke of AI engineering. We do the building and all that. But right now, you can have someone who have never coded in their whole life. They've never done most of the thing, and they'll be able to create their own website, doing exactly what they want, just by commanding the computer, and it creates all these things. So as much as it's seen as like it's more complicated than all that, there's a whole lot of added advantage that a lot of things have become easier now with AI, especially generative AI and agentic AI and all that, in terms of productivities and so on. So I wish to have more conversations, and you can always get me back. Thank you so much, colleagues.
Thank you so much, Master David. Thank you very much. I think if we could keep him, we will be speaking for the whole day, because it's getting interesting in the room or in the house. So I just want to comment also there to say, it is even for the very first time that I'm seeing a computer that is locally manufactured. And that computer looks very unique. I think I'm going to be your next customer. Yes, so thank you very much for those insights. I think we have more to ask or to engage, but I believe Master David is still here. Perhaps we can network thereafter, but I want to move on to the next item on the program, which is the workshop session. I think we are now going to have a practical session on green and digital innovation for sustainable academic practices. And I'm going to invite the Sabio's Innovations Africa Pty Ltd just to come and lead us into this practical session.
Good afternoon and good morning, everyone. Apologies for my voice if it's a bit too low. I actually happen to be a victim of this weather. So my name is Ruwa. I came here today with my support team, our technicians, and we are from Sabios. So just a comment before I go into my presentation. I'd also love just to say that for a long time, we have spoken about sustainability as a long-term goal on its own and digital transformation as a separate agenda. But the fact is, and the truth is, the future of academics now lies at the intersection of green and digital transformation. So as Sabios Innovations, we come with solutions to drive digital innovation for sustainable academic practices. So Sabios Innovations, can I please get the next slide? Okay, so Sabios Innovations here in Namibia, we are a Namibian-based AI company specializing in artificial intelligence and machine learning. We are the first global Sapiotech. That means the first company to combine human wisdom and advanced technology to come up with predictive analytics so that we come with solutions and also enhance our operations. So here in Namibia, our office is in Eros. I believe some of the lecturers here visited us there. And we also came last year, and this is our third time meeting. So next slide, please. And currently at the moment, we have our offices in Colombia, Brazil, Portugal, Dubai, and here in Namibia, and also in South Africa, in Cape Town. Next slide. And at a scale, we are looking at 1.5 million plus people impacted by our technology. And we are looking at a performance of 40% reduction in incidents and exposure to risks in these sectors that I will talk about. And also, these are the sectors that we have managed to leave our footprints in energy, mining, refineries, construction, foods and beverages, oil and gas, and agribusiness. And we also saw it as fit to leave our footprint in the educational sector. Next slide. So what really is our innovation method? We are talking about the culture and competence and behavior of whoever is using our system. So first of all, as you can see, there's machines here that most of you are probably wondering like, oh, what are they? And also, how do we use them? So these machines, you practically just experience gamified real-time scenarios. For example, let's say for someone who is working in the oil and gas sector, they get to experience the real-life scenarios, what actually happens at work and what is expected of them at work. So primarily, our systems and our technology is going to give students an upper hand to say, okay, when they have finished their studies, when they want to go and look for job opportunities, they have an upper hand because they have knowledge of what actually happens at the workplace. I hope you understand. So first of all, Sabios promotes you with a concrete and sensorial experience by immersing you in a problematic situation. So in that gamified story, you are given a problem that people like engineers right now are going through at their workplace. You are given that problem as a student, and you have to come up with a solution. You have to reflect, you have to think as what you can do to solve that problem. So this is our model. So the second thing now, but the problematic situation is contextualized in a gamified story so that people reflect and attribute meaning to the concrete experience, like I was saying. And the third process is through reflection, people now imagine solutions to the problem. And from there, once a decision is made, people take action by testing ideas, thoughts, and plans. So as a student, you are now equipped with knowledge as to, okay, if something like this happens at the workplace, you're an engineer, what am I expected to do? Next slide, please. And our competitive advantage, okay, why are we here? Why does Sabio stand out and why does our technology stand out? So our AI is integrated, AI that enhances every aspect of the platform, ensuring personalized experience, speed, interactivity, and scalability and autonomy. And our robust hardware. So our devices are specifically designed to support high fidelity simulations and AI processing in demanding operating environments. And our software is really user friendly. It's not something whereby a student is given and you don't know what to do. When you receive training, it's something you can also do afterwards alone and try to fill in the gaps where you feel like you're not great, and then you can just redo it again and again. And we also offer we offer a unique solution on the market, meaning we are the only platform that integrates specialized hardware, intuitive software, and advanced AI into a complete operational enablement solution. Next slide. So like I said, we are an AI-based company. So this is where we are as a company at the moment. So when we came last time, I remember some of the questions that we raised is that, okay, so in those machines, we already have experiences or modules. Let me use the language that you would understand. So we already have modules there that you will experience and gain knowledge in, and then after that, you get a certificate that you have knowledge in whatever you have experienced. So some of the raised questions were, okay, so how do we get to have something that is personalized for our institution? Okay. So now we have something called as Sabios Creator. It's not ChatGPT, okay? Like Doctor was saying that we are not using ChatGPT, but we are creating, okay? So Sabios Creator basically here, let's say as an educator, unfortunately the Sabios Creator, only the educators can have access to this. Because as much as we would love to use AI, we also need to use it responsibly. So the educators can only have access to the Sabios Creator and create each and everything that they need for their students. This is personalized. This is something the students don't even have access to. You as an educator, you know the syllabus, you know what is required in Namibia. So you are going to create in the Sabios Creator. It is a platform, something that you can also access on your laptop. And then we have the WeCog Pro. So after you have created an experience in the Sabios Creator, on the Sabios Creator platform, you will experience, now your students are going to experience whatever module you have created in the WeCog Pro, these machines right here. I hope we are together. Okay, so in the WeCog Pro, we also have something called the Sabios Journey. Can you please go to the second slide? Second, again. No, not going. Can you please go to slide number 9? Okay, so like I was saying, we have the Sabios Creator and we have the WeCog Pro, these machines, and we also have the Sabios Journey. So you can have access to the Sabios Journey on the WeCog Pro. So meaning the students will have access to the Sabios Journey, where it is also a platform. They register and get access to the Sabios Journey, and they get to experience the modules that the educator have created. So okay, let me just take you back. Can you go to slide number 7? Okay, so the Sabios Creator now, like I mentioned, it's only for the educators, not the students. And the WeCog Pro, this is where you are experiencing the modules. And the Sabios Journey, as an educator, you can control what the students have to have access to. So in the Sabios Journey, the educator can get to see the analytics and what the students, how they are performing, have they started on their modules, have they finished, something like that. So you get to control each and everything as an educator also in the Sabios journey, and also see the performance of the students. So let's go to slide number 10. So now the Sabios journey, it kind of unifies the entire system to say that the Sabios creator is creating, and now the Sabios journey, you get to have dashboards, like I was saying, where you get to see the distribution of your students. Let's say all the educators, if they want to like analyze, like, okay, how many students do we have under each module? They get to see all of that, and the application and the analysis. And if you want to change anything in the training, there's also the optimization option. Next slide. And we also have a Sabios Enterprise. This is something on its own. It's a software whereby the institution now gets to manage its operations using one system, one software. To say now, as an institution, if you have been using as many ERP systems, now you can have an ERP system where you get to manage your operation. So our ERP system is like an all-in-one tool where you get to manage your assets, and there's also finance and billing, HR management, and project management. So next slide. So these are our solutions for our ERP system. So there's also process automation and use of AI to reduce errors and optimize time. So if you are using our ERP system, now there's no need for people to have like endless meetings to say, okay, how far are we? But each and everything that you are doing is being updated automatically in the system. And our intelligence also is integrated, and there's also real-time monitoring and the dynamic risk management as well, and benchmarking across business units, facilities, and regions. Next slide. So this is also some of the people that have been trained. As you can see, probably these are people in the oil and gas. These are already employees, okay, in the oil and gas or mining. So they are also being trained just to revive them of what they expected to. You know, sometimes if you're an employee, you get so comfortable and you don't know what you are supposed to be doing. But then our technology also will kind of go and refresh people to say, this is what is expected of you. And if there's anyone who has knowledge, or a friend who works in maybe in the engineering, I can tell you that from time to time, they have some safety and training evaluation dates just for them to be trained again and again and again. So also we have some of our machines in some companies to just train employees. So like I said, primarily we also want to connect students to industries so that when they are already like being employed, the employers know like, okay, students from IUM, they actually know, they have knowledge, and we can take them. So yeah, so I would love to comment that IUM is really leading the future of academics. A round of applause for IUM. Next slide. So it's actually really amazing. You will get to experience and play the games. As you can see, the people, they are so excited. They are playing. It is an exciting experience, let me tell you. And then the last slide. The next slide. Some of the employees, when they are done, and then they get their certificate and all of that. So I'm going to leave time to one of our support guys just to take us through the Sabios journey, the Sabios creator, on how we manage the Sabios journey itself. Like I was saying, like if you want to check how the students are doing, how many actually participating, you know. Sometimes students, they sign up for things and they actually end up not doing it. So as an educator, you need to keep an eye on your students to say, okay, how are they doing? How are they performing? And what are the gaps? So I will leave time to one of our support guys.
Good afternoon. Okay, I'm just going to go through Sabio's creator in short and also Sabio's journey. The Sabio's journey is a platform where everything is. Right now, you can also go through it online, but at the moment, we put everything in the machines. So what happens is that with a creator is where you create the gamified scenarios. For instance, you go to the creator, you put all the details as you want them to come out. Then the creator will create the gamified scenarios with the time limits, the points, how many points each person must get, including also the bonus points, because there's points and bonus points. Then all these points together now, they will determine whether a person passed the test or the training. So before I continue as well, at the machine at the moment, the scenarios that we have, it's for oil and gas. So oil and gas, they had to ask for the training, so we had to come up with those scenarios that we have in the machines. So we are going to have experience yourself through the machines as well. So, but now the creator, you create, then it will link automatically to the Sabio's journey. Now the Sabio's journey is more like a platform where you are able, let me say an admin has a right to control everything that is happening, and it also can be real-time management. So where you can see the progress of the students, or let me say people that are taking part in the training. So maybe we cannot say the student at the moment, because right now at the moment you only have the oil and gas training scenarios. So now those scenarios, the moment they start going through the modules or the experiences, the first attempt, it will record the marks. They can play as many times as they want, but obviously only the first attempt will be recorded. So the second attempt you can play, but it won't be recorded. And on top of that, to add a bit on it, the moment you are going through these scenarios or methods, where you get it wrong, it will give you the correct answer. But now, if you got it wrong, it will only record the marks, the points that you got it wrong, but it would not give you, no, you got it right. And you cannot redo it again as well. So, but I wanted to log into the journey, please, if you are able to log into the link that I sent you, the computer. Okay, a moment. Okay, this is Sabio's journey, where you can log in. Okay, these are the modules that I was mentioning earlier. For instance, now at this moment, we are on the Sabios journey where an admin has a right to, when you come to the left up here, this is where the management and authorization takes place. Now here, the admin is able to check the performance of a person that is taking part in the training. Because what I want really to talk about is the dashboard indicators. This is where you see the different indicators to see how the progress of a person taking part in the training is going. Just a moment, it's loading. Here, if you check, it's in Portuguese, but you choose English, then you are able to access it. And up here, we only have the overview of the performance of a person that is taking part in the training. For instance, that's why these are the points that I was talking about. We have maximum points and point average, and also expected points that a person must get. So this is the part that I wanted to talk. If you check up here, it's also analyze the performance of a person, of an individual, also depending on the attitude, performance by knowledge, performance by skills. If you check in these columns, it's like two blocks inside of each other. Now the inside blocks, they will determine the performance of an individual. When the gap between the inside block and the outside block is huge, that means a person is lacking somewhere. And on top of that, you also have a map to show and to indicate the performance. Now, this is not for an individual, but for the whole group, how they performed, sorry. Where you can also gradient it, and also you can also transform it. Now, at this moment, now you can check, if you check on the left, those are the names of all the people that took part in these scenarios. Now, the red part, it means they are very poor in those red parts. The yellow is moderate, and green is where they passed. Now, you can analyze the performance of all the people now that took part, depending on this map. But without wasting time, the whole scenario that we want to show is in the machine. So we don't know how we are going to do it, because we need to show it on the machine. You need, as an individual, for you to take part on it yourself, for you to see how it works. So we don't know how we are going to do it now, since we're a lot. If maybe we can come close for you to see how it works, how it performs. But now we don't know about, for those who are online, if they're able to see or not, but because the machines are here, for those who are online, we are not really sure now.
Our sincere apologies to the colleagues joining us online. We are now moving into a practical session, and okay, but the camera operators, they are going to zoom in at the sessions where the machines are, so that you are not left behind. So
just grasp everything nice.
I beg your pardon.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
No, I was saying just grasp everything nice, so we know.
Yeah, but you'll be seeing, because the camera operators, they will be showing what is happening at the stations.
Okay.
You need a mic?
Okay, this is a WICOC machine. So we call it WICOC. So for some other reason, yeah, WICOC. WICOC, yeah. So, but now these are outdated. At the moment, we have the new ones that are at the size and the weight of the laptop, because this one is too heavy. This one is too heavy, and for now we came up with the new ones that are the size of and the weight of a laptop, so to say. But what it does, if you check this, a projector weight, it will take you a picture as well. It will store it there before you start. Because when you start, for instance, you see the safety mission, like I said, the scenarios that are in here, it's for oil and gas industry. So the employee, they had to come for training for oil and gas and so forth. And now how did we get this, for instance, this scenario that are here? They themselves, they give specifications. Like just as I mentioned earlier as well, if you have access to the creator, you are able to put all your specifications that you want to be created within that gamified. So if you come here, we have the mission. And I think one point my colleague didn't mention as well, Sabios itself, it was not originally Namibian found. So it's from, like, we are part of Brazil. That's why if you check most of the things, even here, you can see it's not in English. So, but now these are the things that we are slowly but surely rectifying. Because if I'm not mistaken, we are only in Namibia for the 2 years now, or 1 year. Yeah, 2 years now. So everything, we are slowly but surely changing things time by time. So for this one is when you want to start now to go through the scenarios of the gamified event. So now it came back to English. This is a mission, safety mission. Then, for instance, in here it's asking, do you want to continue with a guide of the previous ones, but you can enter your own, where you can enter whether you are a company or a contractor. Then you enter your register number, because remember from the journey that I showed, there's also a part where you can straight download the certificate that a person got with the points, whether they passed the training or not. So here you can either put any number if you have a register number, or I don't know, employee number or something, anything, or company number. So let me just use any number. Then you continue. Now here you enter the name of an individual. Then you continue. Now, here you have phases, phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. Now, all these things are gamified events. Now, for you to play this whole scenario, you have to choose from each phase. You have to choose a scenario that you want to take part in. Okay, let's take from harbor and storage. Let's take from drilling. And let's also take from electrical systems. Then you start. Now, this game as well, for instance, you can be as a team to play it as a team. For you to play as a team, but now it's only have a maximum of 4 people per team. You can register the first person, the second person, but now to take a picture as well, you can take a picture as a group or only for one person to represent the whole group. Now this is continue, you either choose the company or the contractor, because this is a member one. Then you enter the ID, for instance. Enter the name, which can be any name. Then you take a picture. Then if you like the picture, you say you continue, or if you don't like it, you change it. Then if you want to add the second member, you go to register, you don't continue. And the good thing about this gamified as well, it's like they are more like interacting with you.
Yeah, just they don't move to the other side.
This is where we went in that machine, and this is the faces or the scenario that we chose on that we were choosing on that machine, because we are just continuing from where that one ended.
Hi, Paulo, are you there? Marcio, okay, Marcio. The connection is perfect now. Hi, guys, how's it going? Paulo, I'm with the team that will be participating in today's activity. Okay, Paulo is the area supervisor who will accompany you on the activity. I'll be here at the UVP monitoring the progress, evaluating and scoring the decisions. That's right, everyone. Nice to meet you. I'll meet you in the operational area. Okay? See you later. Good luck. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? Today, our safety briefing will be a bit different here in the work area. We're We're going to address the topic of safety in operational activities, identifying some unsafe situations that are occurring, which could result in accidents. Take a look at the photos taken during the last inspection. Notice that they show routine activities in the area. Our first task is to find the safety violations depicted in the photos and point them out with these markers. You have a limited number of markers, so don't waste them and observe the details carefully. I'll give your team a few minutes to find the violations in the photos. But remember, since this is a risk situation, speed and attention are important. The faster you place the markers, the more points your team earns, okay? Good luck.
Now what you do, can you see this picture? You have a zoom in. It's here. Down here. This same picture. You can bring it down here, then you zoom in, you look for any safety violation. Then what you can do, it's already
Go online, don't, I can't hear you.
Then you go to the next one.
I think you need to use the mic so that we can keep following. Chief, the people online are literally just looking at you as moving fingers. Okay, I'll speak. You can speak.
Okay. No, if you don't hold it, it won't come down. Yeah. To drag, then you place it there. Then the system will analyze. Then it will tell you why is that the safety is violated. Just because don't forget you have time limit as well. You have to finish that whole scenario within a specified time. No, there is. That's what I'm saying. This. Try again. You are right, and because the ones that you go, if you don't get them, all of them, at the end of the thing, the scenario, it will give you where you got it from. It will give you the correct answers for that scenarios. And just something worth mentioning again. The last time when we came, Dr. Mashika gave us a scenario to create for the students for electrical. Then we created that whole scenario in a gamified form. So what we are trying to say is that you can do this in any form that you want it to be. Like let me say you are into different type of field, so to say. You can create that gamified just for the training of that specified field. Then you can give the certificate to say, no, who passed this training for safety, because as you are doing right now for safety. Because at the end of the day, if you can't find them, you can go.
The second.
Yeah, it show you the other parts, but now for this one you can't continue to go to, you can't jump this one. You have to finish the whole. Yeah.
To identify everything.
Yeah, before you move on to the next one. Or the other way, if you want to move on and you don't want to waste your time, maybe you can't find anything. You just drag these guys, you put them here, you put them here. Then the moment they are finished, it will tell you, no, your points, like your markers are finished. So go to the next level. Like I said, you have 17 markers remaining. So you move on. Yeah, if you can't find anything that is wrong, you can just drag, you drop, then it will move to the next one. Because you can't forward it to the next one. Yeah. Awesome.
I'll show you some discrepancy overlooked.
Now it tell you everything that is wrong in that picture and give you the answers. This green one is showing where that issue is. And it explains to you as well inside to say no. Like this one, the way he's using the tools. Oh, okay. So like I said in the presentation, let me say when you play, like when you are going through these scenarios, only the first attempt will be recorded. The second attempt you can attempt, but it will not be recorded. Yeah. It's like let me say you are what? Writing exam. You can write, but only the first point will be recorded. The second, the third, the fourth won't be recorded. Yeah, but now only for your own knowledge.
Now I need you to monitor an activity that's happening right at this moment, analyzing
Now you have to listen carefully to the scenario. If you see there's something wrong, you press the button. The system will analyze itself, then they tell you what's wrong with it. Whether you are correct or wrong.
Pablo arrives at the Derrick's platform and removes the shackle from the safety harness. Placing it on the floor while attaching the lantern to the
So everyone to play something in the ground while you are not. Whether it's wrong or not.
Pablo moves forward, warned not to leave loose objects on the tower floor. As they fall in contact, Pablo lifts the shackles into place. Jorge works on the building deck and warns that it is important to stay alert to prevent objects and equipment from falling, and took the opportunity to remind his colleagues on the drilling deck about his risky slickline operations as well. On the Derrick's platform, Pablo is wearing a safety harness. Fall arresters and position cases with abdominal straps. Meanwhile, the drilling is placing the bushing on the rotary ring. Paulo, one of the floor hands, decides to speed up the activity and use Andre, his partner, warns Paulo about the nature of this procedure. The bushing must be handled by the team using the appropriate handles. Meanwhile, the standard drill pipe is being prepared for drilling. Pedro, one of the floor hands involved in lifting the pipe stand, decided to After all, you shouldn't use your body to stabilize loads.
Yeah.
Pedro quickly corrects the behavior and the operation continues without issues. The pipes were lifted correctly by the team and are already in the right position to be connected to the drill string. To connect the pipe stand to the drill string, the floor hands use the power tongs. John operates the tongs and decides to put his hand on its pivot point.
In short, that's all about it. There's nothing more special on it. It's just that one. But now there are a lot of scenarios, like the way you chose there, the scenarios, there are a lot. But you have to finish all of them. So in short, it's more like for, like I said, this one is for oil and gas. For training, let me say, when a company, before the employees start work, they can go for training for about the safety of oil and gas environment. Yeah, I think that's it for us.
Okay, can we maybe put our hands together for the very wonderful practical activity? We are running behind time, and I understand the practical activity is so engaging. Especially Lucia, you are in trouble from me because you are the one that was engaging with the machine. You need to come and brief us on how it works. Maybe just a quick question. We do not, although it's time, we do not want to let you go without answering this question. I was just thinking here, me as a lecturer, teaching physics in particular, perhaps how do I make use of this machine in my physics class to enhance the students' understanding of a specific concepts that I'm teaching them?
Okay, just to answer to your question, sir, just like as I mentioned earlier, when you go to the Sabios creator, you put your own specification of what you want to see. The moment you put just like the way we use AI nowadays, the moment you put there whatever you want, it will come out. It all depends on the way you enter it in. For instance, on the creator, they are all specifications that you are requiring to enter before it creates what you want to see. Like I mentioned earlier, I think I can't remember the name of the doc last time when we were here, because we came ready with the creator as well. He asked us to create something for the student, because I think he's giving, he's lecturing engineering, electrical engineering, something related, something like that. So he asked us to create something of that field than we did that moment and there. In with the same way that the scenario that I on the machine, we created it with the instruction, the question, and the answers. Then he also confirmed, no, the answer is B. That's the correct answer that I'm looking for. So like I said, it's all the way, it's all about the way you are entering the information or the data into to Creator. So, but everything is possible. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Team Sabios Innovation Africa. I think now I'm calling upon Dr. Hileni Silohenda Amthenu just to come and do the closing remarks for our workshop. I hope our online community was still there.
Yes, yes, we are here, Doc.
Okay, thank you very much. Now the floor is for Dr. Amthenu to come and do the closing remarks.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shivolo, the MC for today. And okay, thank you. My name is Silohenda Hileni, as it was said earlier, and I'm part of the project. And one day I was very surprised when I was looking at the definition of what is a wealthy nation. So I was surprised to find out that United Nations defines a wealthy nation in terms of the innovative minds. It's not in terms of money. Okay, they defined a wealthy nation as a nation with innovative minds. And I think what this workshop did to us, I think it challenged us today to be innovative and also to be creative, even in terms of the twin transition. So for the students that are here, I think you have heard what Mr. Sebron said in terms of research, that the research doesn't end when you get your marks on ITS. Okay? The research needs to come out and be turned into a business. So thank you very much, the students that are here, and I know that you are listening. And please allow me to call on stage our guests that are here today, starting with Mr. Sebron, and then the Sabius technology or enterprises just to come on stage so that we can appreciate them. And I also want to call our principal researcher, Dr. Shkalepo, on stage. Okay. As they say that gold and silver we do not have, but what we have, we will give you. Okay, so Dr. Shkalepo, please do the honor.
Yes, please. Thank you very much. And I know how passionate you are on the field. You wish we can have you throughout the whole day. So it's just the beginning. And for all information, Gordon is one of the associate partners for the team. So we are one. Please. Thank you so much. Yes. Thank you so much, Sabius. What was a wonderful presentation. I think you are going to become a lecturer. Hopefully, must keep on watching on our website if there is, because I'm told it's just the best. Thank you so much. Yes. Again, this one. Thank you so much for the presentation. So, Sabius Jenny, I picked up something. Yes. This one. Oh, okay, coming back home, man. Thank you so much.
For those that are online that are not hearing, we are saying that the Sabius presenter that was here is one of the IUM students. Okay, both of them. Oh, wow. Can you please round of applause? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, we really want to thank you for the valuable contribution in today's discussion. And we also want to appreciate, I saw online that we have our top-level management. I think I've seen Dr. Njobala on joining us and members of the management team. We really want to appreciate you and also just to thank you for the support that you always have been showing for any agenda related to research innovation and capacitating of the community around, not just of IUM community, but also beyond IUM. So we also want to thank the staff members. I saw different directors from various campuses. I saw Ngwediva campus represented. I saw Nkurenkuru and Nana campus represented. I also saw the Coastal campus represented and also the Swakopmund Research Center represented. And I also saw members of the community in general participating, and thank you. And I think events of this nature are not meant to answer all the questions. I know you have many questions that you might have and many contributions that you might have, but such events are just meant to entice you. They are meant to kickstart debates and discussions relating to social status quo in terms of seeking answers. Let's continue the debates. Let's continue the discussions. And please allow me to thank the IUM Radio. Can we have a round of applause, please? IUM Radio and our IUM marketing team for always amplifying the voices. And yes, and the IT department, thank you very much. I think he's part of the IUM Radio. Now and then, she's always following you. So we just want really to appreciate you because this event would not have been possible. We see that there was a fair number of online participation online. And we don't want distance to be a barrier. We are talking about digitalization. We are talking about online. So we thank you for making it possible for our participants that are not here with us physically. With that, I really want to thank everyone that has participated here online, and I mean here physically, and those that are online. Let's continue with the discussions, and I also want to say kudos and well done to the TED Pro team. I know we have Dr. Shkalepo here as a principal researcher, and myself, and we have Mr. Shepo, we have Dr. Shivolo, and we also have two members of the team that are not here with us, but they are joining online, and they're also engaged in other activities. These are Dr. Ikela Sione and also Dr. Alpha Ndeunyema. Thank you very much for being here. And I think having said that, I officially declare this workshop closed. And thank you. And let's continue the discussions and the debates. Okay, now for this type of events, for us to be able to improve, it comes with us being able to reflect on such events. So there will be an evaluation link that is shared. I don't know how it's shared. It's on the program online. I saw that it was shared on the chatting platform. Please complete the evaluation so that it helps us to improve on the next workshop or other various workshops that you think it's of interest that we can also be engaging in. Please complete the workshop before we have lost sight of our thoughts in terms of how the workshop went. Thank you very much and have a blessed weekend and enjoy the Friday.
Recording stopped.